Nancy Pelosi says, yes, finally, we're going to do impeachment, forced into it by people in our caucus, including John Lewis, who gave a fiery speech about impeachment. And she's like, fine, no mas, we'll do impeachment. And it's around the new charges. They'll also presumably go into the old charges as well, corruption, and of course, campaign finance violations, et cetera. But the new charges are about Ukraine and how the president had a conversation with the leader of Ukraine and basically asked for him to do an investigation of Joe Biden and his son. And he also withheld military funding a week earlier. And so there might be a connection there. But Judge Napolitano weighed in on this at Fox News, and we want to share it with you guys.
The president admits that on a phone call with the president of Ukraine, he requested that the president of Ukraine investigate his 2020 political rival, Joe Biden. Is that a crime?
It is a crime for the president to solicit aid for his campaign from a foreign government.
So that would be that to which the president has admitted is in and of itself a crime.
Yes.
So how's that for clear? So this is exactly what I was explaining earlier in the show, which is that there's actually two different crimes here, potentially other ones as well, but two major ones are, one is what everybody's talking about, quid pro quo. If you hold the military aid in exchange for not a favor for the United States of America and its citizens, but for a personal favor, a political favor, well, that is obviously extortion, bribery, potentially some Republicans that are running against them say treason, right? But a massive crime. But the very act of asking for a political favor, which costs money from a foreign government, is already a crime in and of itself, even if there is no quid pro quo. So that's not just me saying it, that's not just the top legal experts in the country saying it, you just heard it on Fox News.
Well, look, even though the president has broken laws based on these allegations, we shouldn't pursue impeachment and we should communicate that he's above the law because we don't want this to be divisive. I just want to reiterate, how absurd is it to not hold the president accountable for breaking the law because you're worried about divisiveness in the most divided era of American politics?
No, look, the Democratic leadership and the conservative Democrats have, as always, no courage whatsoever. Right now, all over television is conservatives, former Democrats, former Republicans saying, oh no, Trump's got to go, this is crazy. So Jolly, who was a congressman from Florida, is out there going, this is outrageous, should be impeached immediately, this is a no-brainer. Napolitano saying it's obviously a crime, even if all we know is what he admitted to, it's already a crime. He's got to go. William Weld, former Republican governor of Massachusetts, saying that it's treason and the penalty for treason is death. Scaramucci saying he's done, should be gone immediately. And now finally, out of all this, even Fox and Friends. So Steve Doocy, one of the biggest protectors of the president. Now he's not talking about just asking for the favor as Napolitano was. He's saying if there was a quid pro quo where he withheld American military assistance to Ukraine in exchange for political dirt on his rival, well, this is what Doocy thinks should happen.
Because if the president said, I'll give you the money, but you got to investigate Joe Biden, that is really off the rails wrong.
Right.
But if it's something else, it would be nice to know what it is.
Off the rails wrong. We have a core breach at Fox and Friends. Red alert, core breach. So look, I'm the last guy to judge how things are gonna evolve politically based on what Fox News pundits say, okay? I'm giving you that as context for, this is really bad. And even guys who are honest conservatives like Napolitano, who I very often disagree with, are saying how bad it is. And even non-honest actors like Steve Doocy.
Yeah, for me, that's big because Napolitano is conservative and people like us disagree with him on pretty much every issue, but at least he's principled. And he said he had a lot of correct legal analysis even during the Mueller investigation, which you have to give him credit for. But Doocy is not an honest actor, and even so, he's willing to admit that if this is what Trump did, it's beyond problematic. He should be impeached. He didn't say the impeach part, but I added that. He should be impeached.
Yeah, off the rails bad is not good. Okay, and I like that in the middle of this incredibly important story about impeachment, we're pointing out in the graphics that Trump is in deep doozy. So
it's good to have you back, Brett.
That's Brett Ehrlich doing those graphics. Okay, guys, I'm telling you, tick, 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 tick. Trump is in a world of trouble, and things could proceed quicker than you imagine.
I have to ask you a question. So I feel like in life, not even only in politics, just in life in general, a winning strategy is to keep expectations low, right? And the reason why I say that is because we've been disappointed by Democrats over and over and over again. How is it that you still set yourself up for so much disappointment? Look, I don't want to be too negative. This is a good step for Pelosi and establishment Democrats. But I just don't know if I trust them enough to avoid bungling this, right? So while I'm happy at the news that came out today, I'm reserved, right? I'm reserved when it comes to what will happen in the future when it comes to Donald Trump.
Look, I have the facts on my side. You know I'm an optimistic person overall, but I'm not blindly optimistic by a long shot.
Right.
I mean, I keep going back to, I said, on ABC's This Week, Trump would win. I told you guys even on election day, be careful, even though the polling's on the side of Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump has a good chance of winning. You saw it all with your own eyes, right? So I didn't come in there, oh yeah, Hillary's gonna win, no way, right?
You're right, yeah.
And what did I tell you was the one thing that was gonna happen under Donald Trump? They were gonna pass disastrous tax cuts for the rich. And that's what happened, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm optimistic that we're gonna, that money in politics isn't gonna matter all of a sudden. And that, you know what, maybe they won't give tax cuts for the rich. No, I'm realistic.
Yeah.
I would argue I'm uber realistic. And so right now, it just so happens that being realistic, it means that you should be optimistic. And I've said it a million times, and I think that all of you watching will, especially if you're members, right, will give me some degree of credibility here that Trump is like, when you see why he goes, you'll be like, God damn it, Cenk said that. He's gonna go because he's too effing stupid. He's too stupid to cover it up. And so all you gotta do is do a real investigation in front of everybody. The minute you do it, he's gonna be like, yeah, I did it. Oh yeah, I did it even more. I don't care, I did it, oh God damn it. I admitted it. He is a moron. So
He's pretty dumb, I agree.
It is the number one thing that people don't understand about Donald Trump.
I know, Cenk.
He can out-dumb anyone.
He's been dumb. It's not like he's mad. Like he's been dumb. He's been
dumb.
But
Anna, look. Last thing on this, guys. Look, the only thing Trump has ever done right in his life is win the 2016 election, right? 6 bankruptcies, failure after failure. When he's in office, failure after failure. You know how much of the wall he's built? 0, none of it, right? Okay, so tax cuts was not a Trump thing. That was all Republicans. And if he needed Democratic votes, he would have gotten Democratic votes. That was a foregone conclusion, no matter what, okay? Even if Hillary Clinton had won, they would have done corporate tax cuts. Not this deep, but they would have done them. It was a foregone conclusion. So the only reason he had that one victory is because of how unbelievably bad the Democratic establishment is. Hold on. Okay. So, and then if you say, well, over the last 3 years, nothing's happened to him. Yeah, because there's only one remedy to do something about the president, and it's impeachment. So there is no half measure. There's no steps to get there. There's it's binary. Either he's president or he's not president. So he can do the world's worst things and still be president. So we have now begun the only thing you could do to remove him from office. That is part of the reason for my optimism. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. There are definitely some roadblocks and obstacles along the way that I'm concerned about. But I'm gonna say this, and this is my promise. I'm saying it openly, it's on the record. If you are correct, I will give you what you want, which what anyone would want in this case, which is a validation fest. Okay, I will find a unique way to put some sort of video together. I don't know. I will validate you because this is a strong and bold prediction. You've been making strong and bold predictions, and you've made a strong and bold bet with me when it comes to Donald Trump getting pushed out of office before the 2020 election even happens. I still don't buy it, but again, if you're right, you deserve a world of credit.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, obviously we don't know yet, so there's nothing to thank yet. I love that we doubled down, but the $200 I would win from you in that scenario, wouldn't compare to the validation. So
yeah, and let me just
appreciate
say,
it.
so my husband Christian brought that up yesterday. He's like, there's a possibility that you might end up losing that bet. And I'm like, best $200 I'll ever spend, right? So I won't mind that. In fact, I hope you win that bet. But this is it's the best bet to enter. Can we just finally admit that I'm incredibly smart?
Can we finally admit it, for God's sake?
I am not a big gambler, but I will enter a bet where you can't lose.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.